I am very honored to welcome you to this special keynote session titled Inside You All Along, Finding Solution with Existing Resources. So today we have an expert who will guide us on to innovative approaches to maximizing our current assets in graduate medical education and beyond. To get you started, I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Juliette, a dedicated leader deeply involved in advancing workforce development initiative. Ms. Juliette, Dr. Juliette Green. Yeah, because I used to know her when she was Arthur. Now she's Green. So I would like to welcome Juliette to come in and introduce our keynote speaker for this next session. Please put your hands together. Juliette will be right. So did you guys have a good lunch? How was the food? How's your day going so far? Are you guys learning a lot? Excited? Do you guys know who Miss Sherly is? You guys know her? Little Miss Sherly? Not this Miss Sherly, the little Miss Shirley. The one that goes, where your fans at? Where your fans at? You guys sing her? She's like the cutest little things. Maybe if we have time, I'll put it on so you can do that line dancing. Oh, I got my food on the ground. Here goes Juliette. Juliette, please take this mic before Kino say I talk too much.
All right. I'm so sorry. So excuse the little technical difficulties. The person who was supposed to be presenting, Ms. Cassandra Pinenda, is Natalie Arendelle. But Natalie, unfortunately, is out sick today, so I have been given the honors to do that. So a little bit about Ms. Cassandra Pinenda. She is the Assistant Vice President of Graduate Medical Education and Health Workforce at the Greater New York Hospital Association, where she supports various graduate medical education initiatives that impact member teaching in hospitals. Ms. Pinenda also assists members with policies that govern the health workforce within their institutions. And for her work in both GME and health work policy, she engages with state and federal agencies and accreditation, professional and academic organizations on behalf of the members. Ms. Pinenda earned an MPH from Columbia University, Mailman School of Public Health. This is Natalie's right hand. I can't tell you how much times Natalie have told me that she calls on you. So I am very honored to be able to present you today as you present your talk on SUNY Downstate Program Coordinators Forum. Your talk.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Great. Thank you, everybody. All right, let me just get settled. I have all my papers. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for having me this afternoon. Thank you mostly to Miss Juliette and Keno and Natalie, who maybe is online today. It is actually, everybody thanked me for coming and speaking, but I sincerely want everybody to know that it is my distinct honor to be here. I mean, the energy and the vibes in the room, I don't know if I can match them, but I hope I do. But it is my honor to be here with everybody today. And when I was speaking to Keno and Juliette and Natalie about what I was going to talk about, everybody wanted me to talk about what we offer at Greater New York, just as far as resources go, and of course I'm going to do that. And I'll tell you about what Greater New York Hospital Association is for those of you who don't know in a second. But, I really wanted to be thoughtful about how I presented that stuff, because I can run through the list, that's fine. You can go on our website, that's fine too. But what I really wanted to be mindful of was this group, and just hearing what everybody was talking about this morning was just so eye-opening. I was gonna start off with, I know that you sometimes feel like you're unsung heroes, et cetera, and then the whole energy changed where I was like, oh no, I think that they know that they're appreciated here. Like this whole, everything today, what I heard was, from the academic office today and from your GME offices too, is just, I heard the words, pillar of support, the glue that holds the programs together, the real backbone of the programs. I heard Rosie the Riveter. I heard all these things. And I will tell you that when I'm dealing with your DIOs and your program directors and people in the dean's office, I will tell you that they are your biggest advocates. I have never heard anything about, my program can't run because of my staff. That has never been it. It has always been like, what can I do for my staff? Because they do such a bang-up job at what they do. And, I also heard this morning from Dr. Dresner, just, we'll try to get you out of here on time because we know how many days you never get out of here on time. And so it was just something I wanted to underscore because that's what I heard today. I heard that people appreciate you and you are recognized and you're recognizing yourself. And I think that that's just so great. So it is my honor to be here with everybody today. And what I'm going to present today is exactly what Greater New York offers you. And I'll talk about Greater New York, like I said, but what I really wanted you to come away with is the network that you have. It's everybody in this room, it's everybody online, and it's everybody in the Greater New York Hospital Association membership. This is all your network. So as Juliet says, again, I have the honor to work with Natalie and everybody at the central GME offices of the hospitals that we support. They are constantly calling me. I have my 2 cell phones as proof here because they're constantly calling me. And this is how I know that you all have, 6 IMGs that are still stuck outside of the country. This is how I know that you have a dozen who still need Social Security numbers. This is what we can do to help you, and you have access to that because you have access to a network and you are part of a membership. You are part of this tribe. And this tribe of GME is a weird tribe, right? Everybody knows that. But it is a tribe that you are all so interconnected with. And the support that I've seen today, the support that I've experienced from the GME community across the membership is just so poignant. So I wanted to kind of drive that home. And the way that I was going to frame today, talking about the resources that Greater New York Hospital Association offers. So let's start first with, I think I want to use the keyboard to advance. Let's see. Okay. So I wanted to go through this for all you wicked heads out there. I wanted to go back to the Wizard of Oz, so the traditional Wizard of Oz. So those of you who have read the book or seen the movie, you know that it was inside you all along is Glinda the Good Witch, right? It is the lesson that Dorothy had to learn to get back to Kansas at the end. And essentially the connection I wanted to make here is that Dorothy had to find a solution to her problem. She had to find a solution to the challenge that she had. And this is the challenges that you have every day. And what I wanted to underscore here was that you have the resources, you have the network, and you have the tangible resources and the community to get you to those solutions. So today, I'll take you through Dorothy's journey back to her solution, and hopefully this will help you get to your solutions in your everyday work. What I also wanted to underscore is that you are residency program coordinators, right? So you support your residency programs, of course. You do all that stuff. But what you also do, everybody in this room does, is that you are also the moms and the dads and the aunties and the uncles and the therapists for your residents. And you worry about them and you talk to them and all these things. And that is so valuable. And everybody that's in this room and everybody that's online joining us too, they all do the same thing. So every time I get a challenging phone call from somebody, what I first think is, oh, I've heard this before. Somebody else is going through this too. So every time you are just banging your head against the wall trying to solve a problem, know that there's nothing new under the sun. There's somebody else who's experiencing that too. And when you reach out to a Natalie or a Juliet or a Keno or whomever, or a Robin, you know that she is going to find the resources and find the network to solve those problems. And I am lucky enough to be part of those resources. So it was Inside You All Along, and these are just finding solutions with existing resources. And these are all your existing resources. So as promised, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Greater New York Hospital Association. For those of you who are unfamiliar, we are, just as it says, a hospital association. We abbreviate with GNYHA, so I might say that today. So GNYHA is a membership organization. The members are our hospitals. It is SUNY Downstate, it is Maimonides, it is the entire H&H system. And 270 hospitals and health systems across New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. That includes the 170 teaching hospitals. So all those program coordinators that are at those 170 teaching hospitals are also your network. Here on the right side, the big blue box are all the subject matter expertise that we can bring to you, Greater New York Hospital Association. You'll see GME right there, graduate medical education and health workforce. Those just happen to be two of the hats that I wear. But everybody here, I have colleagues in every single one of these lines right there. And they each have a network just like mine, just like everybody in this room. So when you're working with your HR department or your legal department trying to get those visas through, I'm also doing the same thing on my end, talking to our legal department. I happen to also work with the HR department, so that's me too. But I'm working with those folks too, and I'm working with your general counsel to try to get those problems solved. I'm also working with government affairs at times when it comes to having to escalate this to legislators to try to get those visas expedited. Okay, so that's Greater New York Hospital Association. So like I said, back to the Wizard of Oz. So Dorothy, on her way to solving her problem, also collected a few friends. And those friends also had their own challenges. And this, again, I wanted to drive home as your network. We're going to talk about the resources that Greater New York offers kind of in those buckets of those friends that she meets. So we'll talk about the groups and the convenings that Greater New York offers that you all have access to. We'll talk about the publications. These are the other offerings, and these are the tangible offerings that you have at your fingertips to help you do your jobs. And then I'm going to talk about advocacy, which is a big arm of what Greater New York does. And these are the things that push policy forward with ACGME, and I'll talk about that in a second, or with CMS when it comes to GME financing and extra slots and all those things too. Okay, so we'll start with the Tin Man. So the Tin Man wanted empathy, and he wanted a network. He wanted connections. And with that, I'm going to talk about the groups and convenings. And I'm going to focus on GME here, obviously, for this audience. But like I said, that big blue box with all those subject matter experts, all of my colleagues also do these groups and these meetings too, and these convenings. So you have access to that as well. Okay, so for GME, in particular, regularly, I convene with some of my colleagues, and I have two of my team members here today, but with a few of my colleagues, I convene a DIO forum. So these are all your DIOs. This is, your Robins and your Lisas and et cetera, down the line, and your Melanies, et cetera, et cetera. And we convene them regularly to give them updates and briefings on national GME activities. So that's your CMS and your any sort of federal policy that comes down about GME, that it's affecting your hospital and your programs and how you finance them and all the things that you do to get those residents in, just as far as immigration goes, and all the things that you do to expand your programs as far as extra slots go, and we'll talk about that too in a bit. And then we also talk about New York State policies, and we talk about the New York State and federal offerings just as far as funding goes for your residents and for your programs. We talk about ACGME policies, things that change, that seem to change, that seem to evolve so dynamically. We talk about those and how best to support our hospitals. That's all you all. How to best support you and what resources we can put out there. We also convene the GME Administrators Forum, and this is your central GME offices. And these are the folks that really bring your phone calls and your challenges to me. This is how we know, this is how I know what resources to develop and what kind of advocacy we can do for everybody here. These are, just as Juliet mentioned, this is when Natalie calls me because she heard something at the administrators forum that she wants to talk a little bit more about, and then it triggers her and she remembers, oh my goodness, 6 of my programs are experiencing XYZ. It would be really great if we had a resource on that. And this is how we develop our resources. So I really encourage you, if there's an issue, bring it to Natalie's attention and say, Greater New York could really do a great job if we had these sorts of resources on that, because we listen and we do it. So those are the periodic or regular forums that we hold. We also hold ad hoc work groups. So if something were to come up, for example, we pull together an ad hoc work group of your DIOs and your chief academic officers when we wanted to comment on the ACGME institutional requirements, the institutional requirement revisions that were proposed for 2025. When we wanted to put a comment letter together, we got the DIOs together, and they really addressed the issues in the membership that the institutions would have on those requirements should they move forward. So those are the types of forums we pull together, or the types of work groups that we pull together. I'll also talk about in a second the program coordinator toolkit that we put together. We did that because of a work group that I pulled together of your GME administrators. They really listened to exactly what new program coordinators needed to get started and what seasoned program coordinators needed to kind of reference and to use and what would really be useful to them. And that's how we developed that resource through a work group. And exactly as it says here, that really drives our resource development and our advocacy efforts. I also wanted to bring your attention to an annual meeting that Greater New York Hospital Association has the Thursday after Memorial Day. So mark your calendars. You are all invited. If you are a staff member of a member hospital, you are invited to these. It is gratis as part of your membership. It is a nice event every Thursday evening, every evening on that Thursday of Memorial Day week. It is at the Javits Center. It is a rooftop. We have a business meeting that talks about the membership, and then probably one speaker that talks about something that's going on, usually federally. This year we had Senator Schumer there. And then we have a nice reception afterwards, and this is a really great opportunity for you to meet your other colleagues in those 170 teaching hospitals across the membership. It's a really nice event, and it's usually very nice weather to be out there. I see people taking pictures all the time, so mark your calendars. You're all invited next year, and I hope I see you all there. And if you do see me, please, come say hi. So those are our convenings. Now I'm going to talk about publications and the other offerings that we provide. So the Scarecrow is the next person, or the next, I don't know, character in the story that I wanted to tell. So everybody probably remembers that the Scarecrow wanted knowledge. And these are the things that we offer kind of in that bucket of knowledge. And there's two sort of arms here that I wanted to talk about. These are the offerings that help you do your jobs every day. And these are all accessible to you, and I'll show you how at the end of this. But these are all accessible to you, and hopefully these are things that inform your everyday. And there's another bucket there, another arm there within this category that I wanted to point you towards too. These are offerings that you are all welcome to take advantage of, but it is also something that you can provide your residents or your program directors. They are things like webinars and things like that that have to do with faculty development, and I'll get into that too. Okay. So these are things that are some publications that go out regularly. And some of you may already have accounts with our website, and you get these already, but I do want to point these out. The GME Digest we put out every month, and my team helps me put that out every month. And it is 4 short articles that of all the things that are going on in GME during that month. And it's really helpful if you wanted to get just a snapshot of the most important GME policies that happen that month. So it's things like, when Medicaid puts out a new Medicaid GME program or something like that, or if Congress passes some sort of slot bill where you have access to extra slots or additional slots for your program. We give a little synopsis of exactly what to look for and what's important just as far as GME goes. And then it usually links back to some other larger resource, but at least you get that little bite-sized piece of this is what's going on this month on the federal end or what have you, or at the state. It also talks about some of the other upcoming resources that are available at Greater New York, so it gives you kind of like a put this on your calendar, save the date, and some of the funding opportunities that are offered, again, both federally and at the state level, that you can maybe alert some of your residents or your fellows to, that there's funding opportunities for loan repayment and things like that, which I know folks are really interested in. So that is the GME Digest that comes out monthly. Now, ad hoc, we do bulletins. This is an expanded version of probably some article that we put out in the GME Digest. This gives just there's a little bit more meat on the bone here. So if you really need to know, okay, I read in the digest that there's this loan repayment program that some of my psychiatrists, those of you who are coordinators for psychiatry programs. I read that there's this opportunity available. I need to know a little bit more before I present this to my residents and my fellows. Well, that's what the GME Bulletin does. It gives a little bit more detail on that, and then it gives you exactly those resources to go to be able to share that with your residents. And again, these are all available to you. Then 4 times a year, we do it seasonally, we do a GME data brief. So for those of you who are especially interested in data, things like exactly how the match broke down this year, or exactly how many, the trends in DOs, things like that. We did that that was our most recent edition there. So those of you who are really interested in getting into the minutia of the data for things. I know some of you are probably in educational programs of your own, trying to get your master's or your doctorates and things like that. This is, if you're interested in doing something GME related, there's a lot of GME or medical education writ large in those data briefs. So I encourage you to take advantage of those too. And again, those are kind of broken down, and it tells you the policy issue, it tells you the data that we're breaking down, and then it's 3 bite-sized pieces that are in chart form. So it gives you a really nice visual breakdown of the data that we are analyzing. That's all available to you. Next, and this is something that I was specifically asked to discuss, just as far as the residency program coordinator fund or toolkit. So it's toolkit writ large, and this was something that we developed again because your central GME offices thought it was necessary because they heard from you all that these are the things that would help you do your jobs and help you do your jobs better every day. Just a little easy, something easy to reference. So it is a toolkit. It comes in two parts. So the first part is the fundamentals document. And this was really built for newer program coordinators. But it also has a feature in there that the more seasoned program coordinators probably would really like. So this fundamentals document goes over certain things, like it has the terms and the organizations that are often referenced in GME. So, I know there are a lot of seasoned PCs in here. You all remember what it was like when you first started, and there was just this alphabet soup of acronyms and initialisms, and you were like, what is ACGME? What is IRIS? What is all this stuff? This is that easy breakdown of just, these are what they are. This is exactly what we reference. And those are the organizations, and also, like I said, just some of the terms that might be unfamiliar to newer program coordinators. It also goes through the program coordinator role. So this is more for the newer program coordinators who are just like, well, I don't really know how I fit into this, medical education continuum that I'm hearing about. I know I've heard from a lot of your central GME offices that program coordinators kind of find their way there through maybe they were really good coordinators in other things that have nothing to do with medical education, or they were really good administrative coordinators and things like that. So sometimes GME or medical education is new to them, and or new to you all if you're newer. I know we have a clerkship coordinator here as well. This is really for those folks who just haven't quite made that connection of just like, okay, now I'm in this new role, I'm super excited, but where do I fit in here? Just as far as where on the medical education continuum I really help those residents and those fellows through in their training. So there's a little section on that. And then it talks about responsibilities for some of the key areas or the key processes that happen throughout the academic year, and I'll talk about that in a bit too. It also gives like a little bit of background on GME finance and the like, just so you can all make that connection of, exactly how your programs are financed and why certain things happen a certain way, just as far as slots go and FTEs go and things like that. It gives a little more color to that. Another part of this toolkit are those checklists. So these checklists are for those main processes that happen throughout the academic year. And you'll see here exactly what I'm talking about. It's the, during resident recruitment, it's during onboarding, it's through end of year stuff, it's special considerations for international medical graduates. It has a checklist there on all the things that you need to think about when you're thinking about the ADS annual updates and site visits from ACGME. And this was all, by the way, built by a work group from your central GME offices. Natalie contributed to this, Robin contributed to this, and others who really talked about all the things that their program coordinators contribute to any of these, these 6 processes here. So these are all available to you there on our website. The next thing are other offerings, and this sort of falls into the bucket of things that you can provide to your residents and you can provide to your program directors and other faculty and staff whom you work with. So some of the things that we offer on the GME end at Greater New York is faculty development. This is a faculty development series that we have, and we add titles like, or topics like improving clinical teaching and effective feedback, models for mentoring, and curriculum development. These are things you can point your program directors to, or associate program directors to, or rising program directors to, if they're at all interested. These are usually in webinar form, and we usually have like a national expert or a member or a member of the membership, a DIO or a PD, to talk about some of these topics here. And then we also have briefings. So we have ACG, the last one we did was an ACG requirements for the GNEC. We had, excuse me, we had attorneys from a law firm that deal a lot with citations, moving through citations for hospitals. So their clients themselves are the hospitals trying to work through citations that they received from ACGME that they're trying to challenge. So they really had expertise on the common things that get cited during site visits when they're talking about specifically the GMEC. And they helped our members kind of get through those, or kind of avoid those pitfalls before they happen. It also, I also talked to I had a panel of, I think 3 DIOs from across the membership to talk a little bit about the challenges they've had with their GMEC, and gave some kind of tips and best practices on that. So that was a really good briefing just as far as GME goes. We also had the New York State Education Department. So for those of you who don't know, the Education Department is the arm up in Albany that licenses all professions in New York. That includes medicine, that includes the limited permits that your residents sometimes get. It also includes, the Office for Professional Discipline. Like, that's all lumped under the State Education Department. And they came and spoke to us about their modernization efforts, which have to do with licensing and things like that. So when you're trying to help your residents and your fellows try to get their New York State medical licenses, this is the group that you talk to, and they did a briefing for us, kind of walking us through their modernization and things about licensing, licensure, medical licensure, and the like there. We also had a program called the eConsult Academy, and that stands for Electronic Consultations. And we did that with the AAMC, a special project there. And eConsults, electronic consultations, eConsults, are for the outpatient setting, and they specifically help primary care in the outpatient setting link to specialty care, again, in the outpatient setting. It helped that communication between the 2 offices and made it a little bit easier between the 2. So we had an academy there to help hospitals kind of get on board with that, making e-consults between the 2 offices a little bit more easy, and communications between the 2 a little bit more streamlined. Again, this all adds to patient care and patient safety and quality improvement efforts at your hospitals. We also put out a curriculum guide for the eConsult Academy to help your program your program directors train residents on how to provide proper e-consults through the academy. Okay, so I also did want to talk about future resources. These are things that are coming down that you all will have access to, and that we're really excited about. We're developing this again because of the folks at your hospital, your GME community, that brought these things up. So we have the GME 101 for hospital leadership. This is something that I actually was surprised that a lot of your hospitals, a lot of your GME folks are really interested in participating in and contributing to. This is a document for other departments and other areas and other units within your hospital. So we're talking about nursing, we're talking about HR, we're talking about environmental services, and everybody in between and across and beyond. These are for those departments who don't quite get GME. So how many times have you been like, oh my God, I'm just trying to tell, and I don't mean to pick on nursing, but anybody on the patient care team, I'll just pick on nursing. So how many times do I have to tell nursing that, there's such things as protected time, or, schedules are because of protected time, or because there's an 80-hour work week. These are not just employees, they are also learners, and they have other obligations. How many times have you complained about that? This is that document for folks who don't quite get GME, don't quite appreciate that residents are not only hospital employees, but they are also learners, beholden to certain requirements from the ACGME that you all need to stay accredited. So that's that document there. And that'll be released within probably over the summer, so within the next few weeks. We also have an acculturation program that we are, we've already developed it. We are in the process of executing it right now, implementing it, and then it will be available to you all in September of this year. This acculturation program, it's called Getting to Know Your Patient Care Team. This will be available to everybody in the membership, and this is a resource. This is a perfect example of a resource that you can hand over to your IMGs. This is for everybody, but this was specifically developed for those IMGs who didn't have prior experience in a U.S. hospital-based patient care team before they stepped foot on the floor, before they will step foot on the floor on July 1. These are usually folks who graduated from international medical schools who did not do their clerkships here. And, I'm sure you have fielded many questions about like, oh my God, I didn't realize that there was a social worker who could help me with discharge planning. I didn't realize. We don't have medical assistants or patient care technicians or things like that. These are all things that I had to manage, or I have to manage, and I have to learn, and I have to learn their roles and responsibilities on top of all the things that I'm just trying to get to learn by being in the US for, the first time ever. So this is really for them, and this will go into your toolkit when you're talking about onboarding. This is something that you can hand over and even give to those folks who are still probably outside the country, and just say, like, this is a tool that you probably want to review before you get here, to get your feet a little wet and to learn what a nurse practitioner is, or exactly the roles and responsibilities of what a nurse does and what a social worker does, et cetera, before you get here. So that's coming out in September. We also have the Social Care for All Needs Medical Education, or ScanMe Academy modules. Will also be available to all of you. And these are modules that are available for residents to really learn about the importance of addressing social care needs of their residents, of their patients, and how those have to do sometimes with care compliance. A lot of times clinicians, and this is changing for sure, but clinicians will be like, well, I think this person should come back for XYZ appointments, and don't really appreciate that this person doesn't have a car, and we're asking them to get all the way uptown. They only have Access-a-Ride or something like that. And I don't understand why this patient is missing appointments. Well, it's because, they don't have transportation. Or I don't understand why this patient isn't compliant with their medications. Well, maybe they have housing insecurity or something like that. So this really are just modules that you can provide to your residents to really understand why addressing those social care needs is something that they should consider when they're talking about care planning and discharge planning and the like. So those will be available too within the next few months, something that you can hand over to your residents. And then we also have a GME finance resource. And this gets really into the weeds of how GME is financed at your hospitals through the through the GME Medicare, or excuse me, the Medicare GME program, and also how it's financed through Medicaid. That really gets to the nitty-gritty of finance for those of you who are interested, or for those of you, another resource that you can provide to some of your colleagues who are interested in that. This I also wanted to point to because I get many phone calls from you and your colleagues about the funding opportunities available to residents. Medical school is expensive, right? So our state, as the state of New York, state of New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island within our membership, and also the federal government periodically provide these loan repayment programs for certain specialties to practice in certain areas. And this resource right here, it's available on our website, really talks about how those funding resources are allocated, and it also gives a table of the open funding opportunities. So if you're ever thinking, if you're ever hearing from your residents that, you know, finances are a little tight and boy, I wish I was in some sort of a program to help me pay for those, I would really encourage you to visit this page on our website to see what funding opportunities are open, and also for those that are coming down throughout the year to look out for. And it'll give all the information on the details on the eligibility criteria and exactly where you can go or where you can direct them to go to apply for these open funding opportunities. We also have these compensation reports. Now, this again was developed because your allies in your GME offices and your academic offices, they really were talking about how tough it is to recruit and then retain you and your colleagues. And they wanted to get a snapshot of what the compensation looked like in the greater New York area and the offerings that other hospitals are providing as far as career development goes. So this was something that we heard and we developed a resource for. So we did a survey late last year about compensation and career development opportunities across the hospital, specifically for program coordinators, and we just released a report last month on this, or yeah, just last month because it's August. And so that's something that we heard the call for and we provided the resource for. That is new. We just did that for the first time this year. But we also have the resident trainee compensation and benefits report, and I know that some of you have helped with this as well. This is something that we've done since 2019, and it provides a snapshot there of the yearly compensation and benefits that are provided to residents in the greater New York area. And this really helps leadership think through and comply with immigration and labor laws. And that report was also provided last month as well. And this is just on the left here, you'll see that's just a little screenshot of what the program coordinator compensation report looks like. The next thing I wanted to talk about was advocacy, and this here is the Cowardly Lion, and he really wanted bravery, and he really wanted a voice and how to speak up. So all the things that I talked about today so far are all the resources that you have at your fingertips, that network, that all those briefings and those offerings and those forums and all the tangible resources that you have. All those things and all the feedback from those things go to develop our advocacy planning. And this is a huge arm of Greater New York Hospital Association. So when you all see trends in things that happen, that come down through ACGME or, you know, federal CMS things, these are not things that you have to sit on and think that you're suffering through alone. Everybody is going through the same thing, I promise you. And the more that you advocate for those issues to somebody like a Juliet or a Robin or, you know, whomever in your central GME office, they bring that to us and we advocate on your behalf. So some of the things that we talk about here on the federal advocacy level, I did want to talk about HR 1, or the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, OBBBA, but it is HR 1 to me, or the reconciliation package. This was passed on July 4th. I'm sure everybody's heard of this, and I will just channel our federal affairs lobbyist at Greater New York, who says that in his 30 or so years lobbying, this is the absolute worst policy he's ever seen as far as healthcare goes that's ever been passed. So HR 1 does a lot of things, but specifically I wanted to focus on its implications on the hospital end of things. So there are advocacy efforts underway by analysis that GNYHA did on hospitals as a result of this bill. And this is analysis that has been in the New York Times and has been cited in many other publications too. So this does, the HR 1 does cause a $5 billion direct revenue, increases uncompensated care, and it does cause a $5 billion direct revenue hit. So a direct revenue, excuse me, of course, as this will happen, I am getting a phone call. So this does decrease revenue across hospitals to the tune of $5 billion. And how does that translate? That translates into a $3 billion Medicaid cut that you've all heard. That means that direct Medicaid cut causes folks to drop off of Medicaid, which causes your hospitals to have to take up a lot of that cost now that is not covered by the federal and the state government. And that results in 34,000 hospital jobs that will be lost. And that is a direct result of HR 1. So Greater New York is doing advocacy on your behalf because of that. Hospitals are our members, and that is our job. So that is one of our biggest federal advocacy pushes right now. We also do advocacy around CMS rulemaking. So these are comment letters and recommendations that we provide to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services at the federal government. We do this a lot for inpatient and outpatient prospective payment systems and physician fee schedules. This is how your physicians get paid, and especially when we're talking about GME, these are how the physicians on faculty or the supervising physicians get paid for services rendered by your residents and your fellows. So we do a lot around those costs and those fee schedules. And then we also, like I've been talking about, the Medicare reimbursable slots. So all the teaching hospitals, those 170 teaching hospitals across our membership, are all, and I'm sure many of your programs, if not all of your programs, are training above the cap. That means that all the reimbursements that you're getting through Medicare that your hospital is getting, reimbursing the hospital for training those residents, your hospital is training above that cap. So you're essentially in the red when we're talking about training. And so what we're doing is, of course, there's other revenue sources going on, but your hospital is spending that money to pay for those extra residents above that cap. And so we do the advocacy there to get that cap increased and to get more of those costs covered by the federal government, because you are training the doctors of the future, the physician workforce of the future. So that's where we are with rulemaking on the CMS end of things. And then this is actually very timely. This same time last week, it was introduced, the Resident Physician Shortage Reduction Act, and this would add 14,000 slots, additional Medicare reimbursable slots. So again, that'll help with that training above the cap there. And that is something that Greater New York has pushed for years, and it was just introduced is a bipartisan, it was a bipartisan effort. So it is popular. We'll see if it goes through, or we'll see, what happens this year, but we will keep pushing for it. I know all of you have been either this year or in the past struggling with some visa challenges. So some of the things that went on this year here was the May 27th pause in scheduling interviews. So for those of you who had J1 visa physicians, IMGs on J1 visas that were outside of the country before May 27th, who hadn't come into the US yet, those interviews that hadn't been scheduled were totally paused, right? So there was a little, nail biting, I think, at that last minute of whether they would be able to get into the country. So that happened on May 27th. We did a lot of advocacy with our state legislators and also the media. We had a Times article talking about specifically our membership and the issues that you all were having trying to get a few J1 visa holders that were still outside the country at that time back into the country. Luckily, that has resolved itself. And I know that there still is, particularly for SUNY Downstate and for Maimonides, there's still a few that are outside of the country, but we are doing our best to try to advocate on your behalf, just as far as that goes. And then, of course, the July 4th complete suspension of US entry by all visa holders for certain countries, these ones listed right here. I know some of you, particularly I've heard from the Sudan, that just are not able to make it into the country, have asked for waivers, have asked for, et cetera, some sort of help on that end of things. Unfortunately, this is a stickier situation here, but that happened, and we are advocating for, we continue to advocate for a physician exclusion for that. Also, a partial suspension for these countries here as well. We also advocate very strongly for the State 30 visa waiver program. Some of you may know that as the Conrad 30 program, and this is the 30 waivers that are granted to J1 physicians. So J1 physicians, you all know, can stay in the country and train for up to 7 years. They are then subject to what used to be called the return home policy or the home residence policy. So that means they have to return to their country of origin for 2 years before they even apply for a change in visa status. And many of the residents, the IMGs that you train, want to stay in the U.S., and they want those transitions to try to get permanent residence here in the U.S. and to stay further. So these are those 30 waivers that are granted to each state every year to help J1 residents stay in the country and not go home for the 2-year home residence requirement that's usually exacted on them. So New York is one of several states that consistently meet that 30 waiver maximum that each state is allowed. We are always advocating for an increase to that 30 waiver maximum for each state, for the states that kind of butt up against that. So ACGME advocacy. We recently, you might know that the ACGME just had a leadership, just had a little turnover in leadership, so they have brand new leadership. And we sent up a recommendations letter specifically advocating for, on behalf of our members, the specific, unique issues that the greater New York area teaching hospitals have with some of the current accreditation policy and regulation requirements that ACGME has. So we sent up a letter to ACGME, the new leadership, and we got a nice note back in response. But some of the topic areas that we discussed were winding down CLEAR program, Those site visits, I know they are not, while they do not affect accreditation, they are no less difficult for you all to coordinate and to schedule. And so we advocated for a wind down of that. We also advocated for some other things, including a redesign of the resident survey process and how those are inspected as well. So those are things that we heard from our membership that we advocated for. We also, of course, sent up a comment letter just as far as the institutional requirements for 2025 went, and these are the topic areas that we hit there. And we also advocated for, or we sent up a recommendations letter for for NST programs, non-standard training programs. And many of you know, those of you who don't, these are programs that are recognized by the ACGME. So only institutions that have NST recognition for certain programs can enroll J1 residents on J1 visas into those specific NST programs. And those are programs that are not accredited, but they must be recognized. And they don't lead to board certification, but many of your hospitals, I know, I was just talking to Dr. Dresner about this, SUNY Downstate has them, I know Maimonides has them. And we advocated on your behalf because there were some issues that you all were having trying to get those up and running and recognized through ACGME processes. New York State advocacy. So currently, I want to talk about the 12-week rule. Some of you deal with this too. When we were talking about recruitment, I know you've seen your program directors pull their hair out about this. You have a great candidate. They are it's usually IMGs, but these are folks who graduated from a medical school that is non-LCME accredited. So those are, by and large, IMGs. These are in the state of New York, folks that graduated from non-LCME medical schools have to have done their clerkship for no more than 12 weeks outside of the country that their medical school is located in. That is the New York State 12-week rule. What New York State is proposing to do then is, and I should mention that SED, the State Education Department, does have a list of about 18 medical schools, foreign medical schools that are exempt from that 12-week rule, but other than that, all those graduates have to abide by that 12-week rule. So what New York State wants to do then is to allow any candidate for fellowship who has completed an ACGME or an AOA accredited residency program to be able to be eligible for a fellowship program and to provide patient care here in New York. So that is something that Greater New York is supporting. We actually have advocated for this for years, and it's finally sort of on the docket, and we're hoping for that to pass soon. So we are also advocating for an increase in funding for certain programs in New York State. So like I talked about, those loan repayment programs. Doctors across New York, this provides $120,000 in exchange for a 3-year service commitment in a site that is located in an underserved area of the state. This is a resource that you can point your residents and your fellows towards. So when they're ready to practice, they commit to 3 years of service as a fully trained physician in an area of need in the state of New York, and they get $120,000 towards their educational loans. Similarly, the Office of Mental Health, or OMH, has a community mental health loan repayment program. And that does something similar. It provides the same amount of money, $120,000 for a 3-year service commitment. This is for psychiatrists and a specific priority to psychiatrists who deal with adolescents and children. We are always advocating for greater funding for that. And then finally, I just wanted to kind of put this in your ear, but there is a student loan repayment program that's coming down with the 1115 Medicaid waiver, and that will provide $300,000 for a service commitment of 4 years for psychiatrists and certain other, and $100,000 for primary care physicians. And again, there is a priority here for children and adolescent specialists. And that's coming down. We don't know about the timing on this yet, but certainly within the next 2 years, and that's coming down through the Medicaid waiver. And this would specifically be, the service commitment would be for a site at a hospital that provides greater than 30% or greater of their patient volume is Medicaid or uninsured folks. Okay, so the last thing I just wanted to point your attention towards is this QR code here. This goes directly to our website, and you'll be able to just sign up for an account. And the account there specifically will allow you to access any of the resources that I talked about today, and it will give you a heads up on all the events that we have going on and all the events that we have down the pipe and all these things. So I encourage you to just sign up for an account, click all the topic areas that you are interested in. You'll get alerts on those. You just need your hospital email address for that. And that's all I have today. Thank you for having me. Almost exactly on time.
All right, it's almost the end of the day, guys, but just before we move on, I would like to thank Cassandra for an inspiring and uplifting presentation. Your message reminded us that real solutions are often within us, our skills, our team, and our community. Your insight on using what we already have, because sometimes we have something at the tip of our fingernails because it's so accessible to us, we oversee it and we go look for bigger things. So thank you for reminding us of that. Do we have any question before Cassandra leaves? Any question? Well, I do have one for Cassandra. Just one. So how can we better support each other on tapping into existing resources?
Well, like I said, I think, just open your mouths. I mean, just being with this group for the morning sessions, I know that none of you have an issue opening your mouth. So just talk to each other, talk to Robin, talk to Natalie, talk to Dr. Dresner, talk to everybody, because they have all those people that I just named have my cell phone number. I promise you. I text message Robin on my way here that I had pickled peaches for her. These are things they have direct lines of contact with Greater New York. And like I said, those 170 teaching hospitals, all those program coordinators that are having the same challenges that you all are having, those are all your colleagues too. They're not here today, but they are all your colleagues. We are a convener. This is your huge network. This is your huge tribe. You have all this at your fingertips. Just ask them. I promise you, we will address it.
Thank you. Please give her a big round of applause for this amazing presentation. Now I would like to invite Chantel back up.
I think it's time for another raffle. You guys deserve some gifts.
It's time for a raffle. Pull out your ticket. You never know. You might be the next big winner. Hopefully, I pull up my own ticket. That's teasing. Wait. So the numbers for this one, the lucky winner is 5192. Who is the lucky winner? The last four numbers are 5192. No? Going once? Going twice? Gone. And we'll try again. Okay, let me mix it up really well. Okay. The lucky winner is 5184. 5184. No? No? Going once? Going twice? Gone. We must get a winner. The next lucky winner is 5185. Yeah, it's me. I'm just waking you guys up. Going once? Going twice? Come on, Chantal. They say shake the bag. Do the shake, shake, shake.
I think it's the person choosing the
Oh!
gifts.
So I must be picking all the losing tickets, huh? So Chantal, go ahead. Pick us a winner.
All right. The next lucky winner is 5255181.
Okay, it wasn't the person picking now. Can we agree on that?
I'll try again. 5255204. 5204.
I think they left a little early.
Is this the
Let
right
them know
bag?
that they won, but they left. They forfeit their prize, okay?
How about 5165?
51. Wait! Well, finally, we have a winner. Woo! 5165. Finally!
You're 5204? Okay,
Oh.
great.
Well, since she doesn't want to come up, I'll give you something for being the, for coming to get her prize for her.
Here you go. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh, do we have another one, Chantal? Or that's it for now?
After. So we had the pleasure of my co-host Sherly presenting on a wellness initiative on Wednesday. So it's my honor to present her again today, not on the topic of wellness, but on the topic of detoxify your digital space, reclaiming your time and focus. So please give a round of applause for my co-host Sherly.
Whew. Are you guys excited? It's almost over. Let me wake you guys up a little bit. Keno will kill me if I do something else here, but I'm going to stick to the plan, okay? So, hello. hello, everyone. I'm sure you guys have been having an excellent day. You've been having a lot of fun. You receive a lot of information, and now you all say, Dr. Dresner, it's time for us to go home. Every day we stay after hours. Today we want to get out of here early, don't you? All right, so today we're going to be talking about something very important, that this little gadget that we all have. Can all of you put your phone up, if you have it? If you have two phones, put your two phones up. I know some of us, we have two, we have three phones. Everywhere we go with it. We go to the restroom, we're sitting in the bathroom with this little gadget in our hands. We're driving, we're texting, we're reading our messages, we're reading our emails. Big no-nos, but some of us, we are guilty of that. Can we agree on that? So today we're going to be talking about, detox your digital space, reclaiming your time and your focus. As I shared before, last week I was in Mexico City, Mexico. We were working on a declaration. And one of the topics we were talking about is AI, because AI these days plays a big role in our daily lives, right? Whether we want to or not, whether we like it or not, AI is here and it's here to stay. But what we do with it, how we use it, is up to us, right? We can use it to do amazing things, and the same way we can use it to do things that are not so amazing. And for some of us, people talk, some of us, our children, maybe AI is raising them because they all have a little iPhone, they have a little tablet, they have a video game, something that they're playing with. But for us, do you know what this is? Keynote's Garage. Does your email look like this? Does your desktop look like this? Right now, I can promise you, if you go in my office, I'm not talking literally your desktop, Dr. Dresner, you don't have to shake your head. If you go, I promise you right now, if you go on my desktop, my work computer, you'll see my inbox is open. I have at least 30 emails open that I need to follow up on. And when it comes to our personal emails, if you go into your inbox, most of us are probably paying extra space to store the things we have in our phones. I'm guilty of that. I pay $10 a month. And because I have so much in my phone, now I'm paying, I think, maybe $20 a month just to have the extra space to store the things that I have. And believe it or not, it's not because I have things, it's because I have 10, 15, 20 other groups that I'm in. And people are always dumping things into WhatsApp, into text messages, and if you have it back up in your Gmail or whatever account you have, it goes into that and it fills it up, right? Or is any one of us here guilty of our inbox looking like this? So today, just before we start, I want us to play a game. Tech or trash? True or trash? Okay? I want you to look in your phone and think of one app you absolutely cannot live without. That's your truth. You don't have to tell me. Hi, Dalali. She's my program administrator. Welcome. Think of one app that in your phone that you absolutely cannot live without. I cannot live without WhatsApp. Because all my groups, the video chats, when I found out that I could do group calls instead of paying for Zoom, I do group calls. When I found out that I could share my presentation on a group call on WhatsApp, it becomes my #1 app. So my WhatsApp is my #1 chat app that I cannot go without. Now, can you think of one app that you know you should probably delete, but you haven't trashed it? Think of one app. Timo. Anyone else? If you are on the Zoom, you can put it in the chat. If you are here, just turn to your neighbor and let them know. You don't have to spill the beans, but just let them know. One app you can't absolutely live without, and one app you should probably just delete and say forget it. Every so often, I go into my phone and I delete things, right? We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have WhatsApp, we have Temu, we have Emu, you have all the moves on your phone, and then your phone get overloaded. Forget it if you have an iPhone, because you pay for everything in that phone. You breathe, iPhone say you have to pay for this app. That's why I'm a Samsung girl. So I don't do iPhone, right? Because everything you pay for them. So this session today, as GME professionals, we are constantly on emails. I just shared that I probably have 30 emails on my bottom screen that I need to go through. If you're not going to emails, you're in New Innovation. If you are not in New Innovation, for those of you who use MedHub, you're in MedHub, or you're in ERAS. You're in something that you constantly have to work on because this is part of our daily life. Or you on team, or while you're in a meeting, you texting because somebody is looking for you. And then you have more and more and more emails. During our break, I went upstairs and I opened my inbox, and I'm like, oh, today's Friday, and it's Coordinator Wellness Day. I am not looking at these emails because it's too much. So today's session is about reclaiming our focus, reclaiming our well-being by learning how to detox our digital space. Once we do that, we'll have less distraction. We will be able to focus. That will help us to have more clarity. We are not just focusing on this little gadget, because you go to sleep with this phone possibly next to your head, or you have the apps going on all night, ding, 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 you have a notification, or you laying there, you thinking about which email did Dr. Dresner sent last night that I need to take care of first thing in the morning. Right? So this is our life. Even when we're laying down, we're in our bed, we're thinking about it. Our mind is so cluttered, sometimes we can't even focus because there's so much going on, and we find ourselves unable to live without our digital gadgets, right? So let's talk about our key takeaways in our discussions for today. Why a digital detox matter? Why does it matter to detox yourself from the digital world? Although we are living in an AI world where it's taking over, how do we adjust? How do we live to all that noise that overwhelms our brain, that affect our sleep, our focus, and our emotional well-being? How do we detach ourselves from all that when you live it every day? You breathe it every day. When you're eating at the dinner table, it's there with you. It becomes one of your family members, right? The only thing you don't have is put them on your healthcare coverage, but you probably pay insurance for your phone in case he breaks so that you can replace it. I know because I do as well. So mental clutter, right? You're thinking about so many things. You're like, your mind is all over the place that you cannot focus. You sitting at your desk, you possibly touching 10 different things because you don't know which one to do next. Or you have 10 different emails or 10 different software, 10 different web page open on your desktop. You possibly have no innovation. You possibly have ERAS if it's interview season, or now Thalamus, or you have, what else do we use? All the other ones that we have, all of them at this ACGME, because we're trying to do update. You possibly have Excel, Sherly favorite things, Excel spreadsheet that you're trying to transport information from one app to another, from one website to another. Guys, I have 3 screens on my computer, on my desk in my office. I literally have 3 screens on my desk to help facilitate the work that I'm doing, to be able to move things a lot faster from one to another. But that means I will also have 3 or 4 different web pages, different browsers open to be able to do this work, right? So how do we move away from all that? Is it even possible for us to move away from that? But the key thing is we must learn to minimize that. Because when we focus so much on all these other things, we have all these mental clutters, it decreases our productivity. It decreases our productivity. When you detox, it creates a space for clarity and intentionality. So it's important for us. The other day when we were doing the health and wellness session, I suggested that we do a 21-day detox. But we also have to determine what type of detox that you need to do. Is it for mental clarity? Is it for your health and wellness? Is it for your well-being? What type of detox do you need to do? Do we really need a digital detox? If our focus, if you wake up the first thing in the morning, the first thing you do is run to your phone, and every 2 seconds you need to touch it, we need to have a therapy session to discuss it. It means we are all addicted to this little tool here because we find ourselves being unable to live without it. Everything we do is around it. So let me ask you a question. When was the last time you felt mentally drained from screen times? Anyone? When was the last time you felt mentally drained from screen time? I think we're all doing, Chantal? She said yesterday. She said 2 minutes ago. Some of us, we have a lot of screen times. Sometimes I myself, in my office, I find myself turning off the lights, shut down the screen, and just put my head on the desk just to regain my focus. Because after a certain time, my eyes becomes blurry, I get tired, I have a headache, so I need to find that time to refocus, to regain myself, and then I can go back to continue the work that I'm doing. So we must learn to detach, to move away. We must learn when it's time to get up and walk away to detox ourselves. The next thing is to recognize the signs of digital overload. When you are digitally overloaded, what happens? You feel anxious even when you are away from your phone. Have you ever forgotten your phone at home and you're running late for work, but you're ready to turn back to go get that phone because you're worrying about, oh my goodness, what if somebody called? What if something happened? You have all these things going through your mind. And now because you don't have your phone, you're feeling anxious. Your whole day will possibly go upside down because you don't have your phone. Because you know once you have it, every 2 seconds, even when there's nothing going on there, you're hoping something is happening. You're checking, you're looking, you probably send yourself a text message just to make sure the phone is still working, okay? We check email, social media unconsciously to see what's going on, even when there's nothing going on. You probably made your own news to make sure the social media webpage is still on, that your phone is not broken. You struggle to unplug at night. When you go into bed, you probably fall asleep with the phone on your hand because you struggle to unplug from it, right? So we must develop healthy habits when it comes to social media. And after scrolling, what happened? You feel empty. You go, you scroll, you look for things. There's nothing. It's just a habit that we have that we need to be there to look what's going on Facebook, social media, whatever the case may be, we need to do it. Guess what? If any of the things that I just said to you sound familiar, you are not alone. We are all struggling with social media. Most of us are unable to detach from it. Most of us are unable to set boundaries to know when we go into bed, we need to unplug from it. The same thing as us coordinators. Sometimes we struggle to leave here at 5 o'clock because for some of us, it's unrealistic to leave here at 5 o'clock, right? Because we know we still have so much that needs to be done. We find ourselves, I don't have a window in my office right now. Sometimes it's 7 o'clock, I'm still sitting here. If I don't look at my watch or look on my phone, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's 7:30, I need to get out of here. So we need to be realistic about what we do. How do we clean up our digital environment? Any idea? How we can clean up our digital environment? So many of us, when we go into a store, you go into Macy's. Would you like to subscribe to our email so you could get the next coupon when we have a sale? You say yes. You go to H&M, you say yes. You go to Walmart, you say yes. You go wherever you go, you sign up. And then before you know it, you have all this junk mail coming into your inbox, and then you end up paying for extra space. So one of the things you could do, you can unsubscribe from promo emails. Most of the promotion you get, you probably never set your foot inside a store. So why clutter your inbox? The next thing is, I have one rule in my house. Like if I have an outfit, I haven't worn it in a month, I don't need it. It's just taking space in my closet. It's the same thing with the apps on your phone. If 3 months goes by, you haven't used it, guess what? You don't need it. And I'm pretty sure there's an option on your phone that says, that can tell you the last time you used the app. And then you get the option to delete the unused app. So be intentional about that. If you're not using it, delete it. The other things that you can do is turn off non-urgent notification. There's a lot of notification I put on silent because I felt like it was taken away from my sleep. And guys, I love my sleep. 8 o'clock, I need to be in my bed. If I'm not in my bed by 8 o'clock, do not speak to me the next day. I'm not your friend, don't talk to me, right? Because I'm very intentional about going to bed at 8 o'clock. And it took me some time for me to be able to do that. It wasn't always. I had to learn to set boundaries. I had to learn when I'm going to bed, I need to put the phone away somewhere. Now, it doesn't happen all the time because I'm still a work in progress, but I started somewhere. The small steps, they count. So you need to start somewhere. Be intentional. Set up your sleep time. Set up your wind down time where you're going to go to sleep. Okay, I'm going to put my phone. If you know you can't stay without touching it, put it in a different room where we all know we'll be too lazy because we're too tired to get up here to go get it, right? Put it away. Put it in a different room, okay? Archive or delete all texts and files. Sometimes we hold things in our phone that we know we'll never use. These old text messages, well, I'm keeping this one, hoping that one day I'll tell you were lying when you say X, Y, and Z. Delete them. We don't need them. Declutter your digital space. Declutter your mind so that you can have clarity to focus. Digital clutter is like junk mail in your brain. Should I repeat that? Digital clutter is like junk mail in your brain. So you know what we need to do? Who knows what we need to do with the junk mails? Get rid of them. Get rid of it. We don't need it. Just get rid of it. Okay? So now let's talk about setting up some healthy habits. Because we can. We manage residency training. We manage GNYHA training program. So we can do this for ourselves. Right? Healthy boundaries we can set up for ourselves is no screen zone. For example, in your bedroom, the dinner table, when you're with friends and family, or even when you take a 10, 15 minutes or 30 minutes break to walk outside, leave the phone on your desk. Enjoy that time, that moment as you walk outside, just for you to really enjoy outside, to enjoy the air, and not focusing on that. You're probably not even looking where you're going while you're crossing the street under a green light because you're so focused on the phone. So let's put the phone away when we take a walk outside so we can enjoy it, okay? Screen curfew. On my phone, I have screen curfew. If I'm watching TikTok video for too long, it comes up, oh, it's time for you to take a break. We have this option. Use them to your benefit. Set up screen curfews, just like you would do for your kids. Do it for yourself. That's good practice. Set up screen curfew. Once it's 7 o'clock, don't call me, because you never get me. Because 7 o'clock, my phone automatically go on to do not disturb. And I mean it, do not disturb me after 7 o'clock. I have emergency contacts that I put in my emergency contact, my family, if they need to get me, if they need to get in touch with me if there's an emergency. So only these people, if they call me, my phone will ring. Anyone else, it will tell you, Shirley's unavailable right now. Please call her after 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and she'll be happy to speak with you. We need to learn that. We need to learn to take care of ourselves. Use apps like Focus, Flowers, and Digital Wellbeing. I have different apps that I use for my digital well-being. And even in your phones, you have health apps, right, that you can use. If I'm really stressed, I had a very long day at work, I'll go home and go into the well-being, my fitness watch, and go into the app. And then they have meditation, or if you want to hear a nice voice talking to you, putting you to sleep, or you want to hear some relaxation sound, I just select whichever one I want and relaxes me, and then I go to sleep, right? So we need to learn to take care of ourselves. We need to learn not to just set boundary with people, but to set boundary with our phones. With our phone. Boundary with your phones are boundaries with your energy. Sometimes even your phone can drain you out. You need to learn to set boundaries with your phone, okay? There you go. Do not cross the line. Be sure to use that as the line in front of your bedroom, and put your phone in the living room, in the kitchen, somewhere you know you're going to be too tired to get up to go get it, for you to not have it in your room while you're laying down in your bed. You must learn to clean up your digital space, to detox from it so that it's not taking over all your time. We must learn to be intentional when it comes to technology. We must be intentional. One of the questions that you should ask yourself, is this adding value or stealing time? This is a question you should ask yourself. The next time you pick up your phone, ask yourself, are you adding value to me, or are you stealing my time? So we must learn to replace passive scrolling with journaling, walking, or mindful breaks. Whatever it is that you enjoy. Replace the scrolling, replace the digital time with walking, journaling, meditation, going into the sauna, just lay there and relax, because that's my favorite. Leave the phone in the locker. I've gone into the gym, I'm in the sauna, and people are in there with their phones. I'm like, come on. I was looking forward to this 30 minutes, but here we go, right? So we must learn to separate that time, to take care of ourselves, to take care of our well-being, building that tech-free time. Block off that time so that time is just you. For some of us who have children, we want to get time away from them, although sometimes it's not realistic, but we try. Even if we pretend that we are using the bathroom and we lock the door, because we know these little nuggets, they will follow us in the bathroom too, until they get older and they're like, hey, I don't want to be here with you. But do you remember when you were 2, 3, 4, 5, you used to sit next to my feet while I'm sitting in there? We must learn to create that safe space for ourselves. When we talk about well-being, you creating a safe digital space for yourself is part of your well-being. We don't think about that, but we must learn to think about blocking time for yourself. The next thing is create a monthly tech wellness ritual. How do we do that? Host a digital clutter day. Use a Sunday and be intentional. Okay, Temu, delete. Emu, delete. This moon, delete. That moon, delete. Clean up your space. Just like some of us may use a Sunday to plan your week, once a month, every now and then, or every 3 months if that works for you, but make it every Sunday. Be intentional about it. Set a time that you sit there and delete these old text messages, these old emails, these old apps taking so much space on your phone, making it slow. When Dr. Dresner call you, she cannot get you on the phone because your phone is too slow for the call to come through. Dr. Dresner, I'm picking on you. What's wrong with me? I'm picking on my boss. Guys, hello, somebody say something. Okay? Organize inboxes in your desktop. Organize them. And I'm sure pretty soon Dr. Dresner is going to come and share some amazing tech tools with you guys. But it's important that you guys learn to organize your inbox. Create little folders for the important things that you need. Put them in a folder. The ones that you don't need, delete, delete, delete. Delete the screenshots. Delete the old download. Delete the duplicate files that we have. We don't need them. Right? Spend some time, go. Delete the screenshots. If I go into my WhatsApp now, I'm probably like, I just did that maybe 2 weeks ago. I had so many screenshots. I'm like, I already have this saved in my photo. Why do I need this screenshot? So I went and delete all of them to create more space on my phone. Let's reflect. How does your tech use make you feel? How does your tech use make you feel? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel overloaded? Do you feel like you're exhausted? Does it cause you to have anxiety? Are you feeling stress? Are we losing our hair over our tech? Think about it. Reflect on it. I think I'm doing really good on time. So I have this group affirmation for us. I need all of us to take this pledge today. As a group, when it comes to detoxifying our digital space. And please, repeat after me. Today, I control my time and attention. I release digital distraction and create space for peace and clarity. What do you guys think about that? I know I'm taking control of my time. I'm taking control of my attention. And that's why I'm intentional about my 8 o'clock bedtime. People be like, girl, what's wrong with you? Why are you in bed at 8 o'clock? Because first, I'm old. Second, I had 4 kids. Third, I work in GME. I have 18 children when I'm at work. So when I get home, it's my time. Right? When I get home, it's my time. Because you cannot pour from an empty vessel. You must take care of yourself in order for you to be able to take care of others. You must love yourself first before you are able to love anyone else. How can you love someone else when you don't even love yourself? When you don't even know how to love yourself? Right? So we must take care of ourselves. So here's some daily practice and challenges. And I need you to choose at least one today. I know the day is almost over. You can pledge to yourself to delete 5 or 10 unused apps. If you have 100 games on your phone that you don't even turn on, because I know once you set up your phone, they check all these boxes with all these games that you don't even play. So take the time and delete 5 to 10 unused apps. The second thing you can do, you can unfollow or mute 5 social media accounts that no longer serve you. Delete them. If they have no purpose in your life, delete them. If they're not serving you, delete them. If they're just cluttering your space, delete them. The next thing you could do is turn off non-essential notification. Guys, I'm a health and wellness coach. So I have 5 different groups that I'm in because people share their pictures, they share their meal plans, they are excited. Everybody want to make a video and share in the WhatsApp group. And I'll be in bed. The thing is, sometimes people don't even know you shouldn't be texting people after 9 o'clock. It be 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, and my phone is going ding, 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 ding. You think it's the cash machine, like you're dropping coin at the coin master. And I'm like, oh no, I cannot do this. So I had to mute people. I had to mute some of this WhatsApp group. I only go there if I'm looking for something or if I want to know something. Because you cannot have all these notifications going off. Right now, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. Because my phone will probably be going off. Everybody's calling me. All type of notifications going off. So I needed to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I love that feature. Do Not Disturb. I love it. Okay, so turn off non-essential notification. You must schedule for yourself a 30 to 60-minute screen-free break. Even if that means just go outside, take a walk in the park, ride a bicycle. If you love to sing, like a shower singer like me, turn on the water in the bathroom. Go pretend you're taking a shower and just sing to detox yourself. Guys, I do stuff. Yeah, you guys are probably smiling like, what's wrong with her? She turned on the water in the shower? Does she not pay for water? My mental health first, I pay for the water anytime. But I must take care of myself if that's the only time I get some quiet time. But my favorite place is in the car. My favorite place is in the car. I'll take a drive with no destination just to declutter my mind. And if you see me driving on the 75, you think I have a whole crowd following me because I'm having a whole concert by myself. Just to relax, just like Winnie would say from A Different World, relax, relate, release. I learned to do that, okay? Charge your phone in a different room overnight. Charge it in a different room overnight so that you give yourself that free time. And the science, I think they say you should not be charging it in your room anyway due to the radiation. Why do we need it next to our head? Why do we need it in our bed when it can potentially set fire? Because you should not be sleeping with it in your bed. So we have to practice safety. We must take care of ourselves, and we must declutter our digital space by taking care of ourselves. So in conclusion today, when we are detoxifying ourselves, it doesn't mean that we are disconnecting from the world. It doesn't mean that we are disconnecting from our family members. It doesn't mean that you are disconnecting from your job. It's about reconnection with your time, with yourself, with your focus, and with your purpose. Sometimes we lose our sense of purpose because we focus so much on this. We have so many other things that we would love to do. We forget the things that we enjoy to do because this takes over all our time. We must learn to refocus on ourselves, on our well-being, on our purpose. What is your purpose today? What is your goal for your well-being today? How do you intend to detoxify your digital space? As GME leaders, we owe ourselves a moment of mental clarity so we can support our programs, our teams, ourselves with presence and intention. Our job requires that we are in the present. Whatever we have going on outside, at home, in our personal lives, when we walk in the door, we know we have this deadline that we need to meet. It all goes in the back burner because we need that focused time to do our job. We must be in the moment. We must give ourselves that mental clarity because there's certain things that we're doing. We know we cannot afford to make any mistakes, right? Because it means that you might have to start over, do it all over again, or somebody will forget somebody's training verification. You're getting 100 emails, and then next thing you know, it escalates. So we need to have that mental clarity for ourselves with presence and intention. You must know your attention is the most valuable currency. So spend it wisely. Should I say that again? Your attention is your most valuable currency. So spend it wisely. We must spend it wisely. So here's another challenge for you. Today, choose to reclaim a little piece of your mind. However you're going to do that. Take a walk in the park. Just go outside, walk around the building. Go ride a bicycle. Go see a movie. Have dinner by yourself. I've done it all. I date myself. I date myself. I go on vacation by myself. I go to the movie by myself. I go to dinner by myself. I go to the gym by myself. And I have a whole concert in the car by myself because I'm my own audience. So set a 1 hour phone-free window. Go for a walk without your earbuds. Put your phone to sleep before you do. These are your challenges. The first one is choose to reclaim just a little piece of your mind. Set 1 hour free window from your phone. Go for a walk without your earbud. Put your phone to sleep before you do. And we're saying all this to you not because social media is bad. No, social media is not bad. Because some of us, we use AI to help facilitate us, to help make our work a lot easier, right? Because certain things that could possibly take us 2 hours, maybe with AI, we can do it in 10, 15 minutes, right? So it's good. But because you are worthy of peace without a scroll, we're encouraging you to take care of yourself, to disconnect once in a while. When you're detoxing, it's not a punishment to you. You're not punishing yourself. You're giving yourself permission to take care of you. Do we agree? Do we agree? When we give ourselves permission, we're giving ourselves permission to be bored, to breathe, to notice the beautiful flowers, to enjoy an ice cream cone without holding the phone, to remember that time focus is a gift you give yourself. The time to focus is a gift that you are giving to yourself, not something that the world gives you. It's not something that the world is giving you. It's a gift that you are giving to yourself. And you don't have to disconnect from everything. You don't need to disconnect for everything. You just disconnect so that you can reconnect with yourself. Because sometimes we forget ourselves because we focus on everything else. Use that hour to introduce yourself to yourself again, just like you look in the mirror earlier. Who do you see? You see you. This person is calling you and say, hey, I need you. I need you to take care of me. I need you to take care of yourself. so that you can take care of the other people who needs you. Just know that you will never reclaim your peace until you reclaim your attention. You will never reclaim your peace until you reclaim your attention. The world can wait, but your mind can't. Your peace of mind cannot, but the world can wait. I shared on Wednesday that I needed to take time for myself, to take care of me, because I had given my family the two options. I can stay and do the things that I'm doing, and you can bury me in 2 months. Or you can allow me to take some time to take care of myself, and then I'll be around for you. We must learn to recognize when ourselves, when we are screaming for help. As Kino said earlier, you are the best advocate for yourself. You must recognize the signs. You must know when you need a break, when you need to take care of yourself, when you need to take care of yourself. So today, I'm encouraging you to clean up your space. Clean up your digital space. Straighten it up so that you can love yourself, care for yourself, and care for the people who need you, who love you. Thank you.
This amazing wellness, I would say, initiative and detoxifying your digital space. Thank you for all the best practices and all the tidbits. I'm sure that the coordinators will take in all you said. All right. Let's do another raffle, our third raffle. You could choose, Shirley.
Yeah. Oh, I could choose. So she can say it's my fault no one is winning, right, guys? Let's see if we can pick a lucky winner. I'm shaking it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake and bake. All right, and the lucky winner is 5154. The lucky winner is 5154. We have a winner? No? Oh, come on. No? No winner. Going once, going twice, gone. 5173. 5173? Woo! We have yourselves a winner. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, no, take it. You didn't put it back in there, no?
Nope.
Okay, that's it? Is that it for now? All right. So I have a few of these little gift bags left that I did for wellness. If you did not get one, I don't know how many I have left. You guys can, huh? You need one for Natalie, of course. Okay? And I'll get you one. Yeah, oh, that's mine.
Okay, we're winding down to our last speaker, which needs no introduction. Our DIO, Dr. Dresner, who's been so supportive of this forum. We thank you for all the support you provide to the coordinators and to the forum.
Every morning. And I thank you guys for working late.
And she'll be presenting on GME Tech's Essentials, Top 5 app and platforms every coordinator should know in 2025. Dr. Dresner.
So the first thing was, there are about 1,000 different tech apps and things you need to know. But the first thing I did when I wrote this talk is I asked ChatGPT to write a talk on what how AI can help a coordinator do their job. Then I went back and looked at some of my favorite apps, or some of the most popular ones, especially ones that are free, that you can use, and I'll give you a few examples of how I use them. So the first thing is, as I said, I used AI to write the talk. ChatGPT will generate slides, but they're white with black letters. So you make them on one PowerPoint, and you open PowerPoint, create a template, and you copy and paste them. And if you use a template to create a PowerPoint slides, when you just drag the slides over, the template is attached. Of course, I wrote something. You guys have overwhelming administrative loads, and you get asked to do things that are sometimes crazy, and you can use AI to help you. I'm sure everybody's been talking about this today, so I'm going to go fast. So first, what is AI? It's basically a tool that simulates human tasks like writing, organizing, and summarizing, but it does it faster than. So it doesn't do anything you can't do. It just does it faster It's like having 1,000 brains all coordinated, and finds the information you need to put it in. It's also a really good reader and a really good writer, and you can use it as a writing tutor. But keep in mind, and you don't need to know how to code. All you need to do is use prompts. What's a prompt is like what you told your kid or what you tell your students to do. Write a talk on, on makeup, and it will write an outline for I use it a lot I don't always use it to make slides because I think that's a waste of time, but for me, I rather do it myself. But you could use it just to create an outline. You need to write a paper, need to write instruction manual. It will give you the framework to start it. And your talent, your brain, will put the details in. It's actually really important for you to do the work because it makes things up, okay? We heard about it on the news where the FDA came out with a whole statement on vaccines, and they were fake references. Yeah, it will make up a reference. It also is extremely positive, enthusiastic. I took our entire self-study and uploaded it to ChatGPT and said, write an executive summary. It wrote an executive summary, but it was way too upbeat and positive. And as I said, it can hallucinate. Also about HIPAA. It is not HIPAA compliant because we don't have, so all of these these language models, none of the data you enter goes to the big company. It sits in their cloud in your account, and when you're running like ChatGPT, it's using your question and your stuff with the software, but your stuff is your stuff. The problem is that we don't have a business agreement, so you cannot put protected health information in there. That's a big no-no. We'll get in big trouble. I just went to an RCA about it where a student did where a resident uploaded 9,000 pieces of information with name and stuff. It's all taken care of. They reached out to the ChatGPT. They had them delete the account. It's gone, but we don't have that kind of agreement. I suspect in the future those kinds of agreements will happen. Mount Sinai has a chatgpt.edu account, but they're very expensive. In fact, they started with the medical students and now adding residents and faculty. There's a lot of different ways. I just made a list. Drafting and editing documents. I'm going to show you a letter of recommendation. Organizing tasks. You could say I have to do these things. Create a schedule. There are many to-do lists that will do that stuff for you. If you want a recommendation, I've been using one that will take my Outlook calendar and my task lists and assign minutes to it. And if you like to have a schedule for the day for your tasks, it will schedule it for you. And if you don't get to it, it puts it to the next day. Summarizing, synthesizing data, like doing evaluations, evaluating survey data, You could use it, brainstorming and idea generation, training and knowledge support. I'm in the process of creating in ChatGPT an agent for us with all the ACGME policies. And I will, at the next program coordinators meeting, I'll show you how to upload your own policy and see if it's consistent with our policies and the ACGME policies. Transcribing meetings and conferences and writing minutes, or at least writing a summary of what happened. Minutes is tough because you often use templated minutes. I suspect you could upload your templated minutes, your template, and ask it to enter the information into your templated minutes, but I haven't been doing that yet. And expect it to increase dramatically. Like every year, you're going to be able to do something different. So I'm going through a few of the things. This one's one of the quickest, easiest. It's called Google AI Studio. This is amazing. It is really, really, really good at generating images. I typed into it. You're going to see. It's very much like ChatGPT. So it has a prompt, a place for a prompt. You hit go, and you get the image. I wrote, I want an image of a bowling wellness event. That's what it gave me. Okay? So when you use AI and you want to make it more personalized, you just add another prompt. So the next one I did is make it a downstate event. Bowling wellness event for downstate residents. Okay? Now, if you had uploaded photos, I suspect it would incorporate those photos into it even cooler. That would really look cool, right? This took like 12 seconds. Okay? This is not like waiting around. This was not complicated. I literally typed it, hit enter. It came up. I said, okay, let's make it downstate. Typed it, enter. It probably took more time for me to do the screenshots and put it into PowerPoint. Okay, but I got some more. Okay, Canva. Now, I personally am afraid of Canva. Every time I open Canva, I'm like, this is too much. Because the non-AI part is complicated. The AI part, okay, wait. I did, I think, today. I might have done this today. Okay. You write in the AI part, create a flyer for a radiology resident bowling event on December 15th, and it came up with 4 instantaneously. They're nice, right? Okay. So this is the one I liked. And see all of these fields? They're editable. Like changing the text, you just click on the box and can edit the text. 3 minutes, maybe 2. Okay? You don't need to spend $50 with, we don't need to spend $50 of the department money for a basic flyer. You want to do a fancy flyer, but I think they're using this. Okay? So what I did is I actually used the non-AI part, and I asked it to generate a flyer. It created and incorporate the picture from the first one, and copy and pasted and created this. This would be more than adequate, right? Okay, Grammarly. Who uses Grammarly? So you know that you can embed Grammarly into your Safari, your Mac, your iPad. This came up because I'm a Mac person, but it can come up, it can be incorporated into whatever browser you're using. So where do you think I used it today? So I was working on this sponsoring institutional ADS update. And each little window that is open, Grammarly is working on. So when you fill out an important form, it will check your grammar, check your spelling, check. If you turn on the generative AI, it will. We want to rewrite your sentences to make them more perfect. What's wrong with using Grammarly? It's generative AI. So if you're writing a term paper, probably not a good idea. However, if you pay for Grammarly, but for Grammarly, it also has an AI detector. So you can upload or copy a document, and it'll tell you whether it's whether there's evidence of plagiarism or if this likely AI. Okay, I have Grammarly on. I've had Grammarly on even on my phone. It's annoying. Turned it off. But having it on all the time. This, I think yesterday I found this. I've been looking for a transcription app that will transcribe meetings that I'm in and generate summaries. So today, and it's free, I don't know why. So this one is called Highlight, and I installed it. You know, I'm using a Mac, so there aren't as many barriers. So I have to give you, I don't know if you could do this on your PCs. Okay, so this was this morning's, a little bit of this transcript from the Zoom. It wasn't from Zoom. I'm going to show you what you can do when you use Zoom, if you're using a transcript. So that was Zoom, and then this is the array. This is somebody's presentation. The presentation focused on introducing AI to program coordinators in medical education. The whole thing. Okay? This software, it says that it will listen for your name if someone gives you a task and alert you that you have a task. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. But I was like, this is what I was looking for, because so you can take something like this. Those are minutes, or at least the core of the minutes. Well, we'll talk more about minutes. We have all built into our computers from Downstate, MS Copilot. It hadn't been activated about 3-4 months ago, but it's active now. So I've been looking to what Copilot can do. It's up there. It's that little thing. So Copilot can actually do a lot of the things ChatGPT can do. It can rewrite sentences. It can make suggestions. It can do everything. So it can summarize an email thread. Okay, so this is like 3 emails. So the summary of the email thread. It was, I initiated emailed so-and-so. She replied so-and-so. I responded briefly so-and-so. Now, in a 3 email thread, it might not be valuable. In one of those 40,000 email threads where so many different people are writing in and putting their comments, and some of the comments are time off, like I reply right away, but someone else replies 3 minutes later, 5 minutes later, but I've already replied. This can help us out, and it's built in free into your Outlook. So play with it. I opened Copilot, and I asked it to, I asked it to create a presentation outlining how to become a DIO. So it started generating slides. Okay. Again, you know, this may not be exciting or talk, but you know, you can do it. Write a warm welcome. Oh, this is my favorite thing to do. Write a warm welcome email to residents and ask them to send their permanent email address. Okay? So, okay, do you all like my welcome email address to the residents? Yes. ChatGPT. So I could write it, but it wouldn't be as nice as that one. And I did edit. I never send anything that's straight AI. I ask for a prompt. I'll send some more prompts to refine it. I might open it and change the wording because it looks GPT-ish, okay? And then I email it out, and I would tell you that I almost never get responses to things like that. I got several, wow, this is a great letter. So you can, we're in ChatGPT, so you can use ChatGPT, I think it's ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT, so I use ChatGPT almost every day. You can use ChatGPT to take data and put it into tables. It doesn't always work, okay? It's not 100% there yet, but it will take PDFs, extract the numbers from them, and put them into a table. For preparing for the self-study, I took PDFs they were exactly the same for different years, uploaded it to ChatGPT, and it created an Excel spreadsheet, like a spreadsheet, with actually the internal survey we do, and it created with a question list, and the points for each of those 3 years, saving somebody there were 70, 80 questions, saving somebody the need to actually type it in each box. Because I could never ask you to do that. That would be like, I might do it myself, but I would never ask someone else to do that, something. You could do faculty evaluation summary. Oh, so I took the data and I put it in and it offered me graphs. So this is the comments per faculty member. I uploaded some data from New Innovations. I asked it to create a graph. This is the one it chose. It chose to make a radar graph. Right? You could tell which faculty member is the highest rated. Dr. Kugias. Create minutes for a meeting. So we all use Zoom and we use Teams. If you have set it up where you're recording and you get a transcript, you can upload the transcript and ChatGPT will give you a set of minutes or summary, and you write, just create minutes. Okay, they're minutes. This is from my program director's meeting last week. It's close, right? It's succinct. If you added the slides, you're done, right? I asked it to do it. That was in a different one format. It offered me another format, so it came as the same thing in a Word file. You could, in ChatGPT, you can ask it. It will offer you in file in different formats. If it thinks it could be a PowerPoint, it'd say, would you like a PowerPoint? Would you like a Word file? Sometimes it doesn't always work. It doesn't like to take, or it can do audio transcripts, but when they're long, it gets all out of sorts. So, but we already have it transcribed in all of those things, and now I found this other transcriber. I also found that things that I already use can transcribe so that you get to the transcription, and then once you have the transcription, you can ask one of these to summarize it. I use Notability to write my notes. It has the ability to take, to save the audio using my iPad for the audio, make a transcript, you copy the transcript into AI. Oh, and Notability actually will summarize it. It's not a great tool, perfect tool, but Notability itself will summarize it. As I said, you can upload an entire PowerPoint or an entire thing, and it will create an executive summary. So this is my annual institutional review. I did it on Sunday. It's about 50 slides. Graphs, tables, all sorts of things. So it gave me an executive summary. It really did. It actually is a really not bad executive summary, but I wouldn't use it I wouldn't give it to Dr. Brunacardi. But I would use it as a framework to write my executive summary. I'm sure it would save me hours because now I already have the outline. I could also look at it and say, you know, it doesn't talk about this. Let me talk about this. So it starts, it's like getting past your writer's block, which I find getting started is the hardest part. I use ChatGPT to get started. But any of these work. They're really all very, very similar. In fact, they fight over who's buying it, who's not. If you use Apple Notes now has a prompt, the ability to put a prompt in to write things for you. So for writing, Gemini is built into Google Drive. It is really, really good. It does an amazing job summarizing articles and PDFs. So if you have a PDF in your Google Drive, it will create the 5 bullet points, the top 5 things that the article's about. It will summarize the article. And you can ask it to generate a quiz. So this happens to be another 100-page or 50-page thing on hernias. Remember, I'm a surgeon, so hernias. Okay. And these are the things that Gemini can do. And this is part of your Google. I use this in my, I think this is my free version, so it's not enhanced. So it created an outline of this, like a summary of the key aspects of this that went through all the stuff, what it talked about, and it generated a quiz. We're talking about a minute, 30 seconds. Okay? And when it generated the quiz, it didn't have the answers. So I said, I asked it, can you identify the correct answers? And it followed with another list, the same questions with the answers. This does not take, as my mother would say, rest in peace, does not take a college degree to do this. That's what she would say. It's because my mother spent 7 years going to college. She got her MRS degree at the same time as going to college, so she didn't rush. So the best practices and caution is avoid inputting sensitive data. Certainly don't put protective health information. You don't want to get caught. Always review AI output. It can hallucinate. It can make its stuff up. It can embarrass you. Okay? As I said, it's over-enthusiastically positive. It'll turn like, the worst thing that ever happened into, whoa, we did it. And then, of course, I'm using my wrong hand. This is what happens when a righty uses a left. Okay, but encourage experimentation. This is actually my main point, is all of these tools is sort of like new innovation. If you struggle through it, you have a task and you want to accomplish it and you struggle through it, it will take you time the first time, okay? But if you put the time in, you will glean benefit of that time save many more minutes. So I know that me learning all this software took a pain in the neck amount of time, but I saved so much time by using it. So you be generous with yourself, invest the time, and you'll get the reward back. All right, thank you. Any questions? I guess I should ask any questions. No, you don't want to ask questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Dresner?
You can come to my office anytime if you have.
Oh, we do have a question, Dr. Dresner.
Okay. If you see me, I'm with use iPad. I take a lot of written notes for two reasons. I like to know what I did, and also I have a little bit of ADHD, and I think, and I pay attention better if I'm writing. So what do you do with these? I used to use physical paper and throw them away. But now I keep them and organize them, and I've been using something called Notability. Apple Notes has a great software, but it was not really good for handwriting as good as the other things. This week, they started releasing the beta test of the iOS. They're changing everything to iOS 26 or Mac OS 26. So I uploaded iPad OS 26 on my iPad, and they upgraded the Note application really, really well. And it may be that I moved from Notability, which isn't working on iOS, iPad iOS. It's not working right. But right now I have it very well organized. I create a note. I'm taking notes. You can upload in any of these pieces of software. You could upload a PDF, write on the PDF, or you could upload the PDF so that you have it if you're at a conference. And then you put it in a folder, and that organizes your stuff. So if you want to go back, and remember, in all of these things, on the iPad at least, all of these things have desktop apps, so you can look at them on the desktop, but they can translate your handwriting into text. So if you want to search for something, you can search for a keyword, and it will find it in your handwritten text. So it's like keeping notes without having to type. And if you know anything about education and cognitive science, you actually remember better when you write things. When you take notes, typing, you end up obsessing on the spelling. And I get distracted if I'm typing, but I do much better if I'm writing. So anyway.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Dresner. And with our last note from our DIO, this wraps up the 2025 educational retreat. We thank all the coordinators for making this day special, for supporting us, for being here, to all the leadership, as I said before, for your continued support. We thank Biomedical for their support. We thank the Rewards Committee, which includes Michelle, Yvonne, this year's, was it Zenobia? No, it was, no, it was, yes. Selena Adams, and the entire GME for always supporting our initiatives. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you, and hope that you had an enjoyable educational day. We hope we gave you something and that you took in something. And I'd like to thank also the RPCF executive members for putting this together. We've worked hard. So thank you for this day. And yeah, that's it.